Hi, I'm Steph. In this short video, Fire Lab team at Swansea University share about our efforts to find and attribute culverts like this one just behind me. So let's dive in. When our project started in 2018, there was no openly available inventory of road river crossings for the UK. Addressing this gap was our first goal, and we mapped over 110,000 crossings in Wales, Scotland, and England. As you can see in this map, right here. With road river crossings mapped, our next goal was to attribute each of them as either a culvert, bridge, or a ford. And now here's Rochelle to show us how this is done.
Today I'll share how I use Google Earth Engine thanks to a script created by Chow Yang at the University of North Carolina. I first load the satellite imagery and the existing spatial data, which are streamlines and the locations of road river crossings we don't know the types for. I then zoom in and along a streamline until I find a road crossing mapped by a yellow pin. Once at the pin, I zoom in as far as I can and visually assess the structures at the location. It is most often a culvert, a bridge, or a ford. Once I identify these structures, I map the corresponding marker and that's it. I will then continue along the streamline to the next river road crossing. Sometimes the imagery is low resolution or there are trees covering the structures like this one here. In such cases, I use the corresponding marker and map the location that's not clear. A second person later visually assesses the location and we aim to map all structures as a culvert, a bridge, or a ford, not leaving any not clear points. Eventually, the satellite imagery is full of coloured pins and we have attributed the road river crossings. This data will be part of a large river obstacles database for the United Kingdom.
Thanks, Rochelle. To date, we've attributed nearly 12,000 road river crossings in Welsh catchments, finding that most are culverts, and you can see those as orange dots on the map. We found that nearly 70% of culverts in Wales occur on the smallest river reaches. You can see them in pink there on the map. This pattern is similar to most other regions in the world, and in Wales, we know this is an incomplete picture, limited by what the spatial data could capture and missing those crossings where the smallest streams cross the smallest tracks.
Culverts and small streams are vulnerable to failure because they're often situated outside built-up areas and in steeper terrain, and the status quo is that these culverts are poorly installed and maintained. But what do these culverts look like in Wales, and what attributes might indicate these structures are impacting nature and possibly people? Well, we're in luck, because today our Culvert Correspondent Ceri is streamside and ready to get her feet wet. Oh, careful not to slide in there, Ceri. That looks like an eroding stream bank. Looks like Ceri is at the inlet to the culvert. Ceri, that culvert looks tiny. Could you slide through it? Any sediment or rocks in the culvert? Ceri, can you use your arms to show us how wide the river is there and how much of that width the culvert occupies? Do you think the fish on your shirt could swim up this culvert, Ceri? Is it too steep? What about the condition of the structure, Ceri? Can you point to any structural deficiencies where it might be cracking or eroding? What about downstream? What does the outlet look like? Oh, what do you mean? That's the best you can show us? Oh, there's a fence and the landholder won't let you onto the property? Oh, wait. It's our correspondent, Daphne. She wants to add something. Please stand by, Ceri.
Hello, Steph. Hello, Ceri. How are you? Well, while you're visiting a culvert, it is important to consider that these structures contribute to our visual culture and aesthetics. The design and replaceability of any material or structure like culverts influences our appreciation of them, our willingness to maintain them, and our commitment to improving them. Just one more thing to consider about these culverts. Now, back to Steph and UK. Bye.
Those seem like important things for us to consider for human well-being. Thanks very much, Daphne. As Ceri has shown us, collecting information about and monitoring culverts is time-consuming and so can also be costly. We require creative ways to address this challenge around the globe.
Yay!
So where do we go from here? Here's Maren with some ideas.
Hi all. So, you see the picture behind me? Do you think a fish would pass through this? What fish, I hear you ask? Well, that's a good point. And this is just one of the things we need to think about when assessing the passability of a culvert. Can you do me a favour and take a few seconds to look at the following pictures and think about what you might need to take into account when assessing whether it is passable or not? Okay, so here goes. It's a quick fire round. What about this one? Passable, not passable? Why? Why not? What are you thinking of? What about this one? And what about, if you can find it, this one? And finally, what about this one? This one's my favourite, but not very possible. To find out, we're currently designing a survey to explore these things and need experts such as yourselves to get involved. So watch this space. In the meantime, I will pass you back. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Maren. What do you think, Ceri? I think that covers it. Thanks for your field correspondence, Ceri. Enjoy your culvert capers. And thank you all for joining us today. May the fish be with you.